What's going on, y'all? This is Chris with PATCHBOYDARB. Patches for the culture. Let me adjust my lights real quick. And in this short video, we're going to be talking about getting ready for a pop-up shop. We're going to go ahead and talk about some things you might need, building your inventory, how you can accept payments at the pop-up shop, maybe how you can do some networking and some collaborations with other artists. So you're thinking about pop-up shops, but you're not quite ready yet to take that leap and to present your products or your items, your brand, your clothing, your jewelry, whatever you got. You're not quite ready yet to get out to an event and set it up and display it in front of people. I'm gonna say right now, there's never a good way to start. You kind of just do the pop-up shop and you just learn as you go. From your first pop-up shop all the way up to your 10th pop-up shop, you'll make some minor tweaks and adjustments to maybe your marketing, your display, the way you communicate and interact with customers. So let's just talk about some of the stuff that we do over here at PATCHBOYDARB when we do some pop-up shops. So we're gonna get the big thing out of the way, and the big thing I think is payments. How do you accept payments at a pop-up shop? When I'm doing a pop-up shop, I like to have multiple payment methods because not everybody likes paying the same way. Some people pay with card, some people pay with cash, some people don't have card or cash. They rather do a payment app like Cash App or Venmo or any other app that you can use to accept payments. So first things first, if you want to accept credit card payments, there are some different credit card payment options out there. But what we use over here is I use the Square card reader. Here's the Square card reader, if y'all can see that. So this right here, this one is the chip reader, and it also has the wireless tap feature. So if somebody wants to pay with a credit card, I can easily insert the chip card, or they can tap it if their card has that particular feature. And with using Square, it's free to set up, but they do charge transaction fees. And I will let you guys do the research on figuring out which card reader source you would like to use. I'll definitely say compare and contrast their different transaction fees and what other hidden fees they might have. But I definitely like using the Square. It's definitely easy to use. You can download the app on your phone. You can make various listings of your items that you might be selling at your pop-up shop. You can also add special discounts to the Square, to your Square listings. So that way, if you're at your pop-up shop, and let's say you get a customer to subscribe to your YouTube channel, or you get a customer to like your Instagram, you can give them a special 10% off coupon or something like that right on the spot. So that's what's pretty cool about using the Square as well. And with Square, they have a couple of different options when it comes to the particular card reader that you want to use. They have a smaller card reader that will plug directly into your phone, into your headphone jack, into where you can just swipe cards. I prefer you guys to use the chip reader. It's a lot more secure than as opposed to using the swiper. And not all modern phones are compatible with the headphone jack, so you might have to use a little adapter. And why do that when you can just set this thing up via Bluetooth to your phone, and you can accept card payments easily with no wires at all and no hassles? And if you don't know what POS means, it stands for point of sale, just for y'all who don't know. Another option I have for accepting payments is using Venmo and Cash App. And what I did is I went ahead and printed out a little scan sheet. It is laminated. I went to Office Depot and I got this thing printed out. I designed the card layout using Photoshop. I screen captured my Venmo and Cash App barcodes, put it on this sheet, digitize it, make it look all nice and pretty like. I even put some little holes up top here that y'all can see, because I used to have a pegboard display in which I would hang this on the pegboard. So when somebody's making a purchase, if they want to purchase Cash App or Venmo, they can easily come up to the pegboard, scan it, and they can pay me that way. It was nice and easy. It is very efficient to have a printout of your Cash App and Venmo if you accept those type of payments. As far as accepting payments at the pop-up shop, get yourself a POS app on your phone. Get yourself the card reader that goes with that POS system. And also use Cash App and Venmo. And if you're capable, print out your QR codes. So that way it's easier for those customers to just use their phone, scan your QR code and pay you right there on the spot, as opposed to sitting there typing on their phone, trying to locate your Venmo and Cash App. PATCHBOI, was it BOI? Make sure you have your QR codes printed out so they can just use their phones and scan those QR codes. In regards to setting up for your pop-up shop, one of the items you're definitely going to need is a table. And I got my little table right here. This is a 4-foot length table. and it folds up nicely. I got this from Walmart. Relatively inexpensive. If you guys need a table, you can go to Walmart. They got different color options. They don't have a large variety. They only got black and white pretty much. I recommend getting yourself a folding table because this table does not take up much space at all when it's folded up, and it's easy to fit in my car. Some of you might have smaller cars, so you don't have room to fit a big old 5-foot, 6-foot table that doesn't fold up into your car. With this folding table, it has a handle, as you can see right there. So when the table is folded up, it's easy to hold. You can carry it like a little briefcase. Here you go. For visual sake, here is the full table like that. It's not too big. Oh, look at the guns, y'all. Look at the guns. Ooh. Along with the folding table, I recommend getting a tablecloth. I got this dark blue, this navy blue tablecloth right here that I be using. I do want to get a custom PATCHBOYDARB tablecloth, but I just haven't done so yet. I like the tablecloth to be draped over to where people can't necessarily see my legs underneath the table as they're approaching. If you can afford it, I highly recommend getting yourself a fitted tablecloth for the 4-foot table. And if it's not too out of your price range, get your logo printed on that tablecloth. First thing they will see is your logo right there on that tablecloth, and that will help draw more people in because it makes you look more professional and more established as a brand. Another tip for when it comes to pop-up shops, you want to make sure you got a nice inventory of items when you do the pop-up shops. And what I got here is a bucket full of patches. I got over 100 patches in here, and I'm constantly making more and more patches leading up to the day of the event. When it comes to that pop-up shop, definitely make sure that you got plenty of items and plenty of variety for people to choose from. And that goes more so for patches. If you're doing something else such as like hand lotions, fragrances, some special hand creams, if you're one of those type of vendors, you don't necessarily have to have a variety, but you do want a good quantity. When it comes to pop-up shops, there's one thing that you're definitely going to have to do, and that is talk to people. Some of you might be more introverted and aren't really good with communicating with others. I'm not necessarily an outgoing, outspoken guy, but when it comes to pop-up shops, I do have a little I know words. When it comes to pop-up shops, I do like to have a little spiel that I can go into when talking to people who approach my table and want to look through my patches. So when people approach and they come to talk to you and want to talk to you about what it is that you make, it definitely helps to be cheery, have a good positive attitude, and also know what you're talking about. You should be able to have a clear dialogue about what it is that you're selling, whether it's patches, whether it's clothing, whether it's your specialty hand creams, your lotions, or whether it's your drawings, your digital art, whatever it is, you should be able to talk to people about what you make. Hold on a second. Let me take off my glasses because my autofocus is having a little bit of trouble. And if you are extremely introverted, well, not extremely, but if you're an introvert, doing pop-up shops can be quite draining on your mental energy because you do have to talk to a lot of people, especially if it's a big event. There's going to be a lot of people circulating around the whole entire event, and they're going to be stopping by your booth, and they're going to want to hear about what it is that you are making. Another item that you will need for pop-up shops, you may or may not need this item for the particular pop-up shop that you're setting up at, but you will need a canopy. I don't have a canopy with me here to show you guys, but I will post some images of some canopies so y'all can get an idea of what canopies are. And the reason you want a canopy is because if you're doing an outside event, that sun might be beaming down on your head and you don't have any type of shade. You do not want that to happen. And so you don't want to be out in the sun. So you want to have a nice shade over your head, prevent that heat stroke and heat exhaustion. It also helps if you're at an event and it just randomly starts raining. It's supposed to be a nice sunshiny day. So you can't predict the weather. It might say that it's supposed to be a nice sunny day, but it might end up raining. So you want that canopy to help keep your items dry, keep your products protected. You don't want those things getting wet. And for some of y'all probably don't want your items being exposed to the sun. For those of you who got those special lotions and creams and stuff, you don't want the sun beating down on them, making them all oily and liquidy. Get yourself a canopy. You can find some relatively cheap ones on Amazon and at your local Walmart. But the standard size when it comes to pop-up shops is 10 by 10. I have a 5 by 5 foot canopy that works quite well for my patches because patches are pretty small, so I don't need no big massive 10 by 10 canopy for these tiny little patches. What is another tip for pop-up shops? Networking. Don't be afraid to network with other vendors that are at the pop-up shop. The best way for you to get your foot in the door for future pop-up shop events is networking with other vendors. Because typically, if it's your first pop-up shop, it might be this other vendor's 15th pop-up shop. And that person knows where those other events are gonna be, when, and where. Typically, when setting up for the pop-up shop, there is like a 1 hour window in which you can come and start setting up. Within that time frame, wait for other vendors to kind of halfway be set up with their tables, because then you can go mingle around, talk to the other vendors, see what other vendors are selling. You might be able to want to do some art trades. So definitely go talk to other vendors, because they may know of other pop-up shops that you might want to attend. You guys are scheduled for a pop-up shop. They found you on Instagram, they found you on Twitter, they found you on TikTok, wherever they found you, but they want you to come to their pop-up shops and set up a table. If you're at this phase, one thing you definitely need to start doing is marketing. You need to market on Instagram, market on Facebook, market on TikTok, market on Twitter if you can. Market on all social media platforms leading up to the day of the event. Because the more people you can bring to that pop-up shop, the more money you can bring in. But it ain't just about the money. It's about having a good time. It's about mixing and mingling with other people. I plan on having a good time for sure. Not all pop-up shops you attend are going to be free. I have gotten lucky over time and had plenty of free pop-up shops, but there will be some pop-up shops in which you will have to pay a small little entrance fee. It might be 10 bucks, it might be 20 bucks, it might be 60 bucks. There's one event, they wanted 200 bucks. I was like, nah. But when you're starting off, try to find those free pop-up shops and try to find those pop-up shops that are relatively cheap within your budget. All in all, pop-up shops are a great way to get your brand out there, to get your products out there, to get your art out there. If you have the opportunity to do pop-up shops, definitely do them. What are you waiting for? Find yourself some pop-up shops. That's gonna wrap it up for this video so far. I might make a part 2 of the pop-up shop to actually show you guys what it looks like when I'm actually set up at a pop-up shop. There are other things that you are probably gonna need when at a pop-up shop that might not have been mentioned in this video. If there's anything you can think of, leave it in the comments below for others to read. Because when it comes to this creative space, we're all together. We all got to coordinate and collab with each other. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. Whatever you want to do, it's on you.